Okay, so let's talk about one of the most overrated exercises in the whole gym, the face pull. Everyone loves this exercise. It's a cult exercise. Apparently, it saves your shoulders. You can do all the overhead pressing you want. If you just do 3 sets of face pulls, wow, your shoulders are cured. I'm here to tell you the face pull, it's just not a very good exercise. Okay, the first reason why the face pull is probably not a very good exercise is because it involves 3 muscle groups. And when you involve 3 muscle groups in one movement, there's always going to be one that's the weak link, right? There's one muscle that will be weaker than the other two. In this case, because there's 3 muscles working, right? There's the rear delt, the infraspinatus, the lower part of your rotator cuff that does this, and then your traps, your rhomboids, your mid back, right? So basically, what happens is because your infraspinatus is a much smaller muscle, a much weaker muscle than your rear delt, your traps, and your rhomboids, is obviously going to be the limiting factor in the exercise. So you could have pulled so much more weight with your rear delt, with your traps, and with your rhomboids, but you can't do that because at the end of the movement, you need to move. You need to make this motion with your infraspinatus, and to be able to do that, you're going to have to select a weight that allows you to do that, which will always be less than what the other 2 muscle groups can do. So basically, you're limited by the weak link in the movement. And the weak link in this movement is the infraspinatus. Okay, the second reason why it's not a very good exercise is because it works 3 muscles in ways that isn't ideal for each muscle group, right? Your rear delt does this motion. When you're doing a face pull, you're more doing this motion here. So already it's not an ideal movement pattern for that muscle. When you're doing the little shrug at the beginning, you get it over, and you're doing your rhomboids and mid traps. It's such a minor movement. You know, your rhomboids are capable of doing a much larger and stronger movement and pull from around and in. So it's a weak movement for your rhomboids. And if you're going to work your infraspinatus, this is the main reason people like this exercise, right? It's the infraspinatus exercises. Training this motion here, external rotation. The fact is, the way the infraspinatus attaches to the upper arm bone, it preferentially prefers to pull from this angle here. It's strongest here, and the more you take it away from that angle, the weaker it gets. It's okay to work it from here. If you really want to make your infraspinatus strong, you'd be better off training it this way with the pulley rather than this way with the pulley. Another reason why this isn't a very good movement is because it's a late phase loaded movement. One of the things you would want is when you're doing the face pull and you get to this external rotation position, right? Because the main reason we do face pulls is to practice external rotation, right? What you would want is it to be heavier here and lighter here, right? Heavier at the beginning, lighter at the end as your range of motion diminishes, right? But the problem with the face pull is as you pull and you rotate out, the pulley just keeps getting heavier and heavier and heavier as your forearm gets perpendicular with the pulley, with gravity, right? The pulley redirects gravity. As you come here, it gets heavier and heavier and heavier, and that's a late phase loaded exercise. What we want is early phase load and diminishing force as we work our way through the range of motion. Fourth reason why it's not very good is because it's also supposed to be a rear delt exercise, right? The thing is about the rear delt is number one, this motion here, it's not a great motion for the rear delt. The rear delt sweeps like this, right? It's the opposite movement of the front delt, right? Secondly, is because what happens is as you're doing the face pull and you pull in, let's think about your arm as a lever, right? Your delt attaches to your upper arm bone, and your lower arm bone, right? Your forearm is like an extension of the lever, right? If I was to pull here, it would be easier than pulling here because the lever is longer. But what happens is when you're doing a face pull, you're bending your forearm in towards your chest. Therefore, you're not magnifying the lever, you're diminishing it. That's why you can pull so much weight because the lever is become drastically shorter. You're here. You're not pulling here or here. You're basically putting here. You're shortening the lever, making it an easier exercise on the rear delt. So it's not a very good exercise for the rear delt either. So you get a shortened lever for the rear delt. You got a poor strength curve for the infraspinatus, and then for the rhomboids, you got what you would call a micro movement, because the rhomboids are capable of a much larger, much more aggressive movement So it's kind of a pointless exercise. You'd be better off finding a good rear delt exercise, finding a good infraspinatus exercise, right? And then finding a good rhomboid mid-trap exercise. Okay, so what you really need to do is you need to find a way to train all these muscles individually with the perfect movement and the perfect strength curve. What movement can I do to work the rear delt perfectly through its anatomically correct motion with the right strength curve? What movement can I do to train external rotation of the infraspinatus with the perfect strength curve in the strongest position? You can train it here too, but its strongest position is here. And how can I train my rhomboids and mid traps in a way that actually stimulates them to grow and allows them to work through their anatomically correct range of motion with the perfect strength curve? It's that simple. These face balls, they promise a lot but deliver very little, and so much of it is just a placebo. You've been told that if you just do 3 sets of face balls at the end of a session, then you'll have healthy shoulders. It's just not how it works. So if you guys still want to practice this movement here, right? External rotation, infraspinatus, external rotation, from this angle here rather than this angle here, which is better, all you need to do is pick up a dumbbell, put it on your knee, and work your infraspinatus this way. It's the same angle as the face pull. The only difference is the strength curve has completely reversed, and now it's harder at the beginning and easier at the end. Here, I can hold it all day. And that's the correct strength curve for this movement. Like with anything in the gym, the more you think about things, the better results you'll get. If you're a natural and you're past a certain age, to get results and to do it in a way that avoids injury and gets you to where you want to go without wasting time, you need to start thinking about things logically and choosing the right exercises for each muscle with the right strength curve. That's the key. And don't forget to subscribe, as I will be doing more videos like this, breaking down the cult exercises of the gym and explaining to you how most of them will just break you down rather than build you up. And I'm sure cause a lot of drama in the comment section.